Kiev is the birthplace of the Bulgach family. That's my original last name. My family is originally from Russia, although Kiev is Ukraine today, was Russia then. And around 1928, my family was stripped out of all the belongings, and they had to flee the city, where they stayed in the outskirts for a while, for a few months, I believe, and then they moved to Moscow with the rest of the family. And very suddenly they left, they found a passport, and they were able to leave Russia, and they moved to Argentina, where they arrived in 1930. Buenos Aires is the birthplace of my mother and my father, both, and the birthplace of my whole family since then. It's a beautiful place where Samuel Bulgachev arrived with his wife Maria and two daughters in December 1928, and ever since they've been really striving in the Jewish community in Buenos Aires, leading many communities, and that's where I first encountered at my grandfather's synagogue Klezmer music and the Yiddish orchestra. Myself and my oldest brother Gabi used to go there all the time and spend weekends with them, and listening to the Yiddish orchestra was just a thrill. It was the best thing ever happened. And they played forever, ever, and we couldn't believe it. So it was the introduction to greatness just from the very beginning. So that's what I'm trying to recreate, that Yiddish orchestra that I heard in Argentina for so long. Well, in the Yiddish orchestra was a lot of people, like almost 14. It was a whole rhythm section, drums and bass and guitars and piano. But they also had strings and brass and woodwinds, and of course a few singers, and the cantor would come and sing, and it was wonderful. It was just like out of control, great. It was great. My professional career started in Argentina at the age of 19, where I performed for different bands and singers and recording sessions. I even taught music there. And my teachers were the ones who offered the real challenge to move to America and bring my music into an international stage and really set forth a true victory. So in 1992, I moved to New York, where I lived for a year. In 1993, I moved finally to Los Angeles, California, where I fell in love with the place, and I got very inspired to start the international journey for Klezmer Juice. Our first album, called Actions Speak Louder Than Words, came about almost like an accident. We went to play klezmer at a wedding, and the father of the bride was a very hardcore New York klezmer guy. And he didn't want to hire us because we were no one. So he hired me for a 20-minute klezmer set. So after 2 hours of playing, he cut the set, put me on the side, and gave me half the money I needed to cut the first album. And he said, if you don't do this, this will be a waste. And who wants to be a waste? So I followed his guidance, put together the whole production, and the album came about, and it was an international success. After our first CD, the second album, it was a for-hire album. It was music from Matisiahu, done on klezmer rhythms. But our true second CD is called Jufro, and it's the new formation of the band, and it's the first time where we really set forth fusioning klezmer with Latin rhythms. And it's the first time we recorded a bolero and a Yiddish tango in the album. And also we have an original composition done in honor of Liviu Librescu, who was the teacher who gave up his life saving his students at Virginia Tech. Rampage. So it's a very, very soulful album. The activities that Klezmer Juice are realizing right now are beyond just performing klezmer music. We do, of course, weddings and bar mitzvahs. We also play at international stages. We do all different kinds of stages all over the world. It's been a tremendous honor to bring klezmer music to every part of the world. Not only klezmer festivals, but also world music festivals and places where they never heard Jewish folk music before. And to carry this Yiddish spirit, this Yiddish soul music, is to carry klezmer, and klezmer is music that is alive today.